This paper brings together work from HCI and island studies to suggest the defamiliarisation of rural islandness provides a valuable lens for HCI. Rural islandness is a heightened sense of place that being bounded by the sea brings, and with it a heightened publicness of life and local accountabilities. Socio-culturally, the values of rural islanders differ from urban centres and indeed from other rural contexts. The publicness of living on a small rural island brings the need for psychological distancing from fellow islanders, but also the need to foster peaceful coexistence for vital collaborative work of living on an island to continue. Whilst island identity often appears cohesive, Gill reminds us of four publics on small rural islands, each an island to the other. Public 1 are people who are symbolically from the island, Public 2 are migrants, Public 3 are seasonal dwellers with summer homes, and Public 4 are temporary islanders, such as tourists and indeed researchers. Boundary management between these groups is carefully managed to make islanding possible. And by islanding, we refer to what Fanini calls the art of building alliances with people and objects to make an island, addressing emerging challenges with whatever and whomever is to hand. The future is not abstract on islands, but rather the realities of climate change and depopulation haunt the landscape and bring future making to the fore. These concepts are important for rural islandness, and we now apply them to the Grassroots Radio project, a project which sought to lower the barriers to start and sustain a community radio in 6 rural communities across Europe, including a number of small rural islands in Ireland. Whilst the design concept had worked well in other rural contexts, rural islandness disrupted it in ways that we had not anticipated beforehand. And we believe this disruption could provide an interesting lens for HCI. Through ethnography, we found 2 core themes of experiences of rural islandness and islanding community radio. Rural islandness brought values often not considered to the fore: insulation from modernist values of always-on culture, productivity, efficiency and choice, while also isolation from the mainland and its services when storms or crisis hit. This led to particular ways of engagement, the need to keep the peace to ensure collaborative work of islanding remained possible. This was particularly the case for Public 1, who found it difficult to take a public position, fearful that it might alter the dynamics and the relationships necessary for collaboration to continue. As a result, the freedom of speech inherent in our platform was something feared rather than initially celebrated. Public 2, on the other hand, came with urban values and were more involved in community development, including the radio. This is similar to other rural HCI contexts where Public 1's values disrupts the original design, where they have, for example, resisted the anyone can edit functionality of heritage wikis, fearing it could upset collaboration. Rural islandness attuned us to this diversity of ruralities and differing views of the future. Public 1, for example, feared their way of life being eroded by increasing numbers of Public 3 and 4, which in turn turned the landscape into a summer playground, a heritage-scape or touristscape. They asked good for whom, and made us consider the differing agendas that the technology could support. The radio itself became part of islanding when the community were supported through it to maintain a vital community service that would support year-round community, that of mass. The community also decided to island the radio by using expertise and technology they had to hand, rather than our prototype, which they felt was not stable enough and risked positioning them as backward if broadcast failed, a positioning they rejected. Issues of maintenance and repair were also central to their thinking as they thought about how to sustain the technology they needed long into the future. Our paper delves more into what rural islandness might contribute as a lens for HCI, including rural, sustainable and cultural heritage HCI. 3 themes are particularly important in the paper. Separateness, which brought interdependencies to the fore, as well as the importance of maintenance and repair. It also highlighted our own urban assumptions and biases and made us think differently. The strategic silences that we met became articulated as interpublic tensions important for design and for us to consider. We also became attuned to the differing rural pluralities and the need to not privilege one over another. And I'm going to leave you with some wisdom from Baldacchino, an island studies scholar, who says being on the edge, being out of sight and so out of mind, exposes the weakness of mainstream ideas, orthodoxies and paradigms and foments alternatives to the status quo. And we think in an era of climate change, islandness provides a haven for us to think differently.